Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to unbox the iPhone 14 Pro in space black. Now, if I had to guess, you're probably looking at a bunch of other unboxing videos of the iPhones right now. So I'm just adding to the pile. But this is the iPhone 14 Pro in space black. I do have the 256 gig model. Comes in 128, 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. You can see on the front picture of the phone, dynamic island in check there, iPhone branding on the sides, and Apple logo at the top. And of course, these are color coded, so if you get the purple one, these will be purple. If they're gold, so on and so forth. On the back, we have our phone's information, iPhone 14 Pro designed by Apple in California, and everything it includes. On the top, we get our space black iPhone 14 Pro. We also get a Lightning to USB-C charger, and of course, documentation. Something new this year, it says you no longer need a physical SIM card. Activate your eSIM during iPhone setup. We get some more stuff here, and an Apple sticker. All right, so I just set it up as new just to show you in this video. So you can see the pill style notch here. Now, as you may know, there are two separate modules here, and what they've done is they've just blacked out the screen between them to make it look like a complete little island like that, but it is actually two separate modules. So you have a camera module here. You might be able to see it a little bit in this video, but the pill style is separate from that. And if you look at some early pictures of this, you'll see that this was not a thing just a few months ago. So they did this kind of quickly. So taking a look in settings, it is running iOS 16.0. There is an update 16.0.1 right out of the box. And I do have the 256 gig version, and this one comes with 240 gigs. When opening the camera for the first time, you get this offered up to you, the photographic styles. So you can see we have standard, rich contrast, vibrant, warm, cool. And you can choose between these, how they look in the camera. So you use standard, and I guess you can change that at some time. Some of the choices we have here, we have time-lapse, slow-mo, cinematic, video, photo, portrait, and pano. And of course, in video, we can go up to, looks like, 4K 60 frames per second. So we're not up to 8K like Samsung phones, but still pretty good. Now, one thing I was curious about in the camera is if the zoom has improved, because they did add new modules here. So of course we do have a new 2x zoom, and that's available in both video and in photo. If we go to 3 here, we can check, and it goes up to 15x, and that's what we had in the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. And then for video, you do have that 1x, 2x, and 3x. And then of course, if you go all the way up, it's only 9x for video. And that is the same for the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. So no difference in zoom, which is kind of disappointing. I really was hoping that Apple would give us more better zoom. I know that it would look like trash, zoomed out very far, but it still would be nice to have, so that's just unfortunate. Now, one of the new features of iOS 16 is, of course, this redesigned lock screen. So we also have new wallpapers. So they removed all the previous wallpapers, and now we have a bunch of new ones here. So they have some featured here in these collections. We have weather and astronomy, emoji, collections, and color. And it looks like we just have one new one for the iPhone 14 and 14 Pro and Pro Max. Here's a quick example of the dynamic island. So as you can see, I did set a timer, and it shows up here. And then of course you can tap it to go back. And then now it shows in a kind of smaller form. So you can see the timer as it goes. So that's live, and that's live as well. Tap on that and it'll bring you to where you're supposed to be. Of course, the timer is not there, so that might be a little messed up. Let me try that again. Okay, so it goes back to the timer where it's supposed to be. But that's just kind of a quick example. Now, unfortunately, I don't have an iPhone 13 Pro to compare this to the iPhone 14 Pro, but I do have an iPhone 12 Pro. And as you can see, this one had the larger notch that was reduced with the 13 series, and then the 14, of course, has the island now. But the design is very similar, so the same screen size, resolution, all that stuff. You can see that the overall design is really the same, but the camera modules are just giant on the iPhone 14 Pro. As you can see, the module is super, super big compared to that, but the overall design is very similar. One thing you'll notice is the 5G window on the iPhone 14 Pro is bigger than the one on the 12. And then, of course, one other thing that's missing is the SIM card tray on the other side. So that is now missing, and I believe the volume buttons are moved a little bit down from the 12 Pro and the 13 Pro. But overall, very, very similar. But of course, the big difference is camera, color, and of course the notch. And one other new feature of the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is the always on display. So as you can see, when it turns off, it goes dark, and it just stays like this. Now, coming from experience from the Apple Watch, that drained battery, just having that always on display on. So I'm probably gonna turn this off, but I'm gonna see how much battery this uses in the next couple days, but that's how it looks there. All right, and there you have it, a quick look at the iPhone 14 Pro in space black. I will say that the design, of course, is very familiar. Biggest changes are camera and, of course, the notch there, as well as processor, but this is just an initial impression of it. This is space black, but it really still looks gray to me. It doesn't look black. I would really like to see something darker, but this is still darker than the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max were in the graphite color. But anyway, that's a quick unboxing for you. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.